Mic stand broke. If you saw my Sonic Riders Trilogy video, you know that early copies of the first game came with an exclusive Sonic X DVD. I decided to do a second review just of this, but in order to do that, I needed to research its background. That proved to be a problem because there isn't any. I fell down a ridiculous rabbit hole because of an unexpected question. What is this thing's deal? Before I actually review its contents, I'm going documentary on this real quick because it turns out this one DVD is much rarer and severely lacking in concrete information than I already thought it was. I'd like to fill in the gaps as best I can with as much details as I could glean, in case someone else comes across it and immediately starts spiraling. So strap in as we take a look at the Sonic Riders exclusive DV double shot of Sonic X. So first of all, two minor corrections. I've said that this disc came with early versions of Riders, and technically that's true. But according to the Sonic Fan Wiki, it was exclusive to the first printings sold at Target, so that goes some way to explaining its rarity, but not completely. The Sonic Wiki specifies only the Xbox and PlayStation 2 versions. Despite there obviously being a GameCube variant, it's the one I have. The PS2 version is nowhere near as rare, and you can get it complete in box with the DVD off eBay for $30 to $60 used. Interestingly, the PS2 variant has the exclusive Sonic X DVD stamp in a different spot. The Xbox version seems to have some inconsistency and possibly misinformation on what the included DVD even was. I found two separate sources that say it had 5 episodes of Sonic X, but to be fair, one of those appears to be an outdated archive of the game's Wikipedia article. Coincidentally, Wikipedia no longer mentions the game coming with a DVD anywhere. However, one eBay seller's copy shows that their DVD is the same double shot as the rest, and a one, The Pirate Pimp, advertised their copy on Facebook in 2018, and it's the same deal there. I'm fairly certain those two sources I found were mistaken, and maybe they mixed up the double shot with a completely different 5-episode Sonic X collection. There were a few of those. If eBay is any indicator, an Xbox copy is about as rare as the GameCube version. That one, if it's ever on eBay, will set you back $100+. I got my copy for $130, and that was used. This person selling theirs sealed for $540. Then again, they're also selling a sealed PS2 copy for the same price, so maybe that's just general collector's grift. This brings me to the second minor correction. I was confused as to why the DVD I bought came in its own jewel case, knowing that there was no way it was going to fit in a GameCube case. It turns out GameCube versions had a separate plastic sleeve that the DVD came in. That explains even more why it's so rare. Those sleeves have likely vanished, the DVD with them. And that must have been what happened with mine. The seller just had to compensate. What baffles me about this disc is how little information there is on it out there. Those few small sources I found were the only sources I found. The Sonic Wiki and Sonic Retro don't include it as one of the DVD releases for Sonic X. Granted, the Wiki doesn't document a lot of the DV double shots, perhaps because they sometimes shared subtitles with other bigger collections. Don't get those mixed up. Which brings me to my next point. What even is a DV double shot? This was a series of releases by 4Kids, distributed by the also now dead imprint Funimation, of 2 episodes each from their various popular shows from the time, including Sonic X. The name seems to be a holdover from when 4Kids TV was called Foxbox, as they would advertise airings of 2 episodes of the same show as a double shot. These were sold on the cheap to take advantage of the then increasing popularity of portable DVD players, in a similar vein to the Video Now, PSP UMD movies, or Game Boy Advance Video. A couple episodes you can take on the go, but in a much less niche format than those. The DV double shots are relatively rare now, especially with the modern preference for complete anthologies of shows, and the ongoing increase of storage capacity and resolution in portable devices, but you can find copies pretty easily on eBay. Inflation and scarcity has doubled their price though. Sonic X got 4 main double shots, and each pair was generally of episodes from the same story arc, except Cracking Knuckles and the Sonic Riders exclusive, which have episodes from 2 separate arcs. The first episode of the 2 provided the double shot subtitle. This finally brings us to the Sonic Riders promo DVD. This is the only Sonic X double shot that doesn't have a subtitle. It's also the only one to not have an obvious theme between its 2 episodes. It contains the show's debut, Chaos Control Freaks, and the 24th episode, How to Catch a Hedgehog. Including the first makes sense if the idea is to promote the show to gamers who may not have seen it yet. But why the 24th? Well, I streamed the disc live for my super patrons, and the best guess we could make is that each episode includes a race between Sonic and Sam Speed. Racing game, racing episodes, sure. Neither of them is one of the episodes about them racing, like Fast Friends, which aired just 3 episodes before How to Catch a Hedgehog, where the race borders on irrelevant, but sure. In writing this, I also realized it could be because Sonic does a lot of running in both episodes. But it's Sonic. He does that. So that feels even more tenuous. I fell down this rabbit hole because I was just looking for information and context on this thing for the review, and maybe now you understand why. It's rare even among old Sonic X collections and first prints of Sonic Riders. It really was exclusive to Riders 2 because it's the only double shot to feature those two episodes. It's like a ghost among the double shots too. There's so little concrete information on it, it's like it didn't happen. But that's all the information I could dig up on the DVD itself. It was a disc packed in with the first prints of Sonic Riders on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, sold exclusively at Target. It's part of 4Kids and Funimation's DV Double Shot series, the fifth for Sonic X specifically, but it's the only entry to contain both and either the first and 24th episodes. And it's the only Sonic X double shot to not have a subtitle. Why they picked these two episodes? I think it's the races between Sonic and Sam Speed, but honestly, I have no clue. Despite what I've read, it was not exclusive to just the PS2 and Xbox, and the Xbox version did not have a different DVD with 5 episodes instead of 2. Pointless mystery solved. But now it's time to actually get into its contents. I'm an American kid in early 2006. I bought Sonic Riders on release at Target, and Sonic X is over halfway through its third and final season. How is it to sit back and watch these 2 episodes, and assuming I still hadn't seen the show, would it have gotten me to care so late in its run? Would it have made a Sonic Riders player want to watch Sonic X?